So what we'll demonstrate in this video is how many Jewish people were misclassified as Arab. It's not that they weren't Arab, but they leave off their Jewish identity. So we'll look at the Nasrid dynasty, an Arab dynasty that ruled the Emirate of Granada from 1230 to 1492, the last Muslim dynasty in the Iberian Peninsula. Okay? So this also dispels the myth that Jewish people didn't accept Islam. Okay? The Jews were the vanguard and the nucleus of Islam, as we know that Muhammad and Quraysh and many others were Jews. And this is just to show you an example of the inconsistencies that we find in historical records, and so that you can see clearly how people and places can get mixed up. And obviously YouTube has a problem with us discussing the reality of the slave trade, so no need to cover that point again. We've already discussed it, and that information has already been dispensated. So now we're going to look at this and all the other conclusions and realities can be put together by the viewers. So we'll try to go as quick as possible. First things first, we'll look at the parent house of Banu Nasr, okay? From the Nasrid dynasty, Banu Nasr, okay? The parent house is Banu Khazraj, okay? And understand that Banu Khazraj is the brother of Banu Aus. Together, they are called Banu Kayla. So let's look at the Jewish tribes of Arabia, historically attested to include Banu Harith or Bani Quraith, Banu Kainuka, Banu Shutaiba, Japhna clan of Banu Thalaba, who were exiled members of Banu Ghassan. Both tribes were not Jewish. They did have Jewish members, okay? Whereas the Japhna clan was solely Jewish, okay? So once again, there would be no way for Eurocentrics to know who was and who wasn't in those cases. Banu Zawra, Banu Zurayk, Banu Kuda'a, Banu Qurayda, Banu Nadir, Banu Ju, Banu Aus, and Banu Auf. Okay? So we understand that Banu Aus is the brother of Khazraj. So clearly we see that Azid, okay, the father of Mazin, who in turn was the father of Thalaba, who gave birth to Banu Kuza'a / Banu Khazraj and Banu Aus. Okay? So Aus and Khazraj are the sons of Thalaba. Okay? And they were brothers. And they were Jewish. Okay? So once again, they have been classified as Arab, but clearly they were Jewish. Another very important reality about the Banu Aus and Banu Khazraj is that these two tribes together were called Banu Kayla, and they formed the Ansar. Okay? And they were also from Saba. And it was these two tribes who helped Muhammad and helped their brother Israelites before Muhammad was born and after. Once again, Ansar in Arabic means the helpers. But when we look at this reference, they are just called Al-Azd or Al-Azd, a tribe of Sabaean Arabs. There's no mention of being Jewish, but indeed they were Jewish. And they were mentioned in the Jewish tribes of Arabia. They only mentioned one of the tribes, Banu Aus, but we know that Banu Aus is the brother of Khazraj, and they both are from the parent house of Azid. Okay? Al-Azd. Now, what's even more interesting is that they are also looked at as a Qahtanite tribe. Okay, this is the Adnani Arab. Aus and Khazraj, as we said before, were known as Banu Khayla in the pre-Islamic era. Okay, a lot of fighting between these two. But once again, they are mentioned as Qahtanite Arabs. So we understand that the separation between the Adnani and the Qahtani, it's insignificant, because we see that both sides were Jewish. And they also included amongst their ranks some non-Jews. So let's look at the Adnani Arabs. Okay? We know that the Mahdi is said to be from the Quraysh, and he is also said to be from the people of Israel. The Mahdi is one of the people of Israel. We are told in Hadith, learn the glad tidings of Hazrat Mahdi. He is from the Quraysh and one of my house. Hazrat Mahdi is one of my children. Okay, these are the words of the Prophet. So this makes the Quraysh Jewish. Clearly. This makes Muhammad Jewish. Clearly. And we also know that he was also directly related to the house of Azd and to Banu Khazraj and Banu Aus, as well as the other Israelites. So once again, they have been just styled as pure Arabs, but in fact, they were Jewish. And to confirm this, the Prophet has said that he is from Ahl al-Bayt. Ahl al-Bayt is mentioned only 2 times in the Quran, 33 and 33, and in Surah Al-Hud, 1169 to 73. And we see clearly here, the first reference, 33 and 33, has to do with his household, and this reference has to do with the house of Israel. Okay, which obviously, if the Mahdi is also from his household, and also one of the people of Israel, and his grandson, clearly that makes him also of Ahl al-Bayt and a Jew. And so now this makes the Adnani and Qahtani tribes take on a completely different reality. And now when we look at Mecca and the Kaaba and the whole history of Arabia and the slave trade that was associated with that and all of the other intricate details that were associated with that, a completely different picture emerges. Because once again, these were not just pagan Arabs. Indeed, this was the house of Israel. So we clearly understand that these Jewish Arab ancestors of ours were also classified as Moors, Berbers, Ethiopians, Africans, Arabs, and Negroes. Okay? As we have blood ties with each of these groups. Okay? And we also have to recognize that Ham and Shem were blood brothers. Okay, so they shared the exact same ancestry. So we would have been blood relatives to all these other African, Ethiopian, Berber groups anyway. Arab groups anyway, Shemitic and Hamitic. But the important thing to look at is the Umayyad, the Abbasid, and the Fatimid caliphates. They were all Jewish, okay? And they came from the house of Quraysh, which was also Jewish.